Welcome to the deep dive. You know how it is? There's just so much information flying around, and you need someone to help cut through that noise, find the important bits, and really understand what's going on. That's what we're doing today.
Absolutely. We're diving deep into the latest from Me and the Boys Wrestling, their big show, the nightmare it was. Well, it was something else. Lots of action, some really surprising results, and honestly, a few things that were just plain weird.
That's right. Think of this as your inside track. We're going to unpack all those twists, the big feud payoffs, some scary new faces, and yeah, even those moments that felt glitchy, almost like the show itself was breaking down. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, a big one. Puma versus Holden Rhodes. This feud's been going on for a while, right? I feel like Holden always kind of had the edge.
He did, yeah, but this time it was Extreme Rules, and Puma, well, you heard the talk. People calling him the Great Puma, the final boss. He seemed different.
Different how?
Like the way he came out. The commentary noted he didn't walk to the ring with the same kind of look. Maybe those previous fights, the vitamin slaps, the forearm fibers from Holden, maybe they finally pushed him somewhere else. He embraced the brutality this time.
Right, right. And wasn't Holden's ally Gail trying to interfere?
Oh yeah, totally. She was ringside, messing around, even ripped off a buckle pad, took a swing at Puma. Classic interference attempt.
But it didn't work.
Nope. Puma was just zoned in. He actually managed to snap Holden Rhodes' good slapping hand, force the submission that way.
Wow. So targeting the weapon itself.
Exactly. It felt really decisive. Like this wasn't just winning the match. This was dismantling Holden. It kind of puts this feud to bed, you know?
Yeah.
And it shows a much harder edge for Puma, especially since he had more fighting to do later.
We'll get to that. But sticking with high stakes, what about DMP? The demented, maniacal psychopath or president, taking on Hunter S. Mustache. That had a wild stipulation.
Yeah, loser loses the stash or the flannel, iconic look on the line. But DMP's reasoning was fascinating.
How so?
He basically said he didn't even dislike the mustache. He just wanted to prove I could beat him in his signature match. It wasn't about hate, it was pure ego. A personal challenge.
Huh. Weird motivation.
Totally. And Hunter S., he supposedly never losing with the stash on the line. He brought back up the Stroop. DMP had Mr. Patterson and Queen Arai.
So how did it end? That mustache is legendary.
Well, after a really tough match, DMP hit his finisher, the Canadian Destroyer, then a second bullfrog splash, and yeah, Hunter S. Mustache lost.
No way. So he actually has to shave it.
Looks like it. Next show, no mustache. That's a huge visual change for Hunter S. You got to wonder how that affects him mentally, right? Losing such a key part of his whole identity.
Definitely. Okay, so from settled scores and shaved mustaches.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something much darker. The Reaper, his debut.
Yeah, that was unsettling. Sweet Death introduced him, saying the Disciples of Death, the DOD, they're back with a vengeance.
And he wasn't alone.
No, he came out with Sweet Death, plus two new guys, the Virus and Quick Draw Wild Man, all apparently part of this new DOD. The Reaper himself, he's a super heavyweight, huge guy, imposing.
Okay, big guy. But how did he look in the ring? What stood out?
Well, he immediately pulled out moves like Sister Abigail, had this kind of eerie, almost theatrical style, like Gold Dust back in the day, maybe, that Gold Dust-like business, and his taunt. They said it was not good for anybody but the Crow. Just creepy stuff.
So he faced HR Mr. Tyrell.
Yeah, and Tyrell seemed confident, even had his ally DUI come out to help even the odds at one point. Didn't matter. Reaper hit a sit-out powerbomb, got the win.
So this new DOD.
They're definitely going to be a problem around here, especially with this kind of presence and backup. Sends a real shiver down your spine.
And this ties into another mystery, doesn't it? King Slick being missing.
Exactly. The timing is interesting. We heard Slick ran into the HRS in the parking lot before the show. Now he's missing in action. Can't reach him.
So his disappearance basically opened the door for the Reaper's debut.
It seems that way. Whether the DOD caused it or just took advantage, who knows? But it adds another layer of intrigue. Where is King Slick, and what does this mean for the HRS?
Right. Okay, shifting gears a bit. The women were in action too. The royal family.
Yeah. First up, Victoria Ventura and the Dutch lover Dorothy Von Devious. They were in a tornado tag match against Lady Strange and Mishi.
Tornado tag, so all four in at once.
Yep, total chaos. Weapons involved, kendo sticks, bats, ladies flying everywhere. I mentioned the Dutch lover's Dutch oven submission. Sounds unique.
Maybe. And who won?
The royal family pair, Velvet Scorpion and the Dutch lover, got the victory, showed they can handle that kind of chaotic environment.
But the royal family had a tougher time later, right? Yeah. Against the Dreadnoks.
Oh yeah, much tougher. That was a Survivor Series style knockout match. Big six-man tag, basically.
What was the setup there? The royal family versus the Dreadnoks. Two very different teams.
Exactly. The Royals are kind of super packed, but have almost zero uniformity. Just a collection of individuals, really. The Dreadnoks, they're uniform, unified, like a wolf pack. Very cohesive.
And the rules were different. Knockout, not pinfall.
Right. Knockout only. And a super strict 5-second count out if you went outside the ring made it really intense. You saw Demolisher from the Dreadnoks, just an absolute beast, showing why that team is on an absolute tear. They operate like a machine.
But there was some controversy at the end involving Kevin Hall from the Royals.
There was. It came down to the wire, and Hall was trying to get back in the ring before the 5 count.
Did he make it?
Well, the commentary team looked at the replay. They said if Paul had snuck under the 5 count, it looked like he made it in. His head was in before the 5. Apparently, he had to run over someone's body on the floor, which slowed him down.
Ah, so if not for that obstacle?
He might have made it. Definitely, they thought. So the Dreadnoks got the win, but it was razor thin. Leaves a little question mark over their victory, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, amidst all the feuds and factions, there was also talk of a tournament, a mystery tournament.
Yeah, for the vacant crown and the title of King of Me and the Boys Wrestling, plus a title shot, big stakes.
And how does someone get in this tournament?
Well, we saw an 8-way eliminator match to claim one spot, and POE, who some call Booker Man, he won that match.
POE, okay. And this crown, wasn't there some story there?
Uh-huh. Angelo King apparently frisbeed the original crown into the crowd some time back. King Frenchie has it now because Buzzsaw Butcher and Kevin Hall paid a fan to get it back for him, but he is not like the official king yet.
Gotcha. So POE's in the running now. He even talked about maybe becoming the next king.
Yep, he earned his shot fair and square in that eliminator. Big opportunity for him.
All right, almost main event time. But first, tag team titles were on the line. The Helicopter Boys defending.
That's right. Fingers and Bad Attitude, the Helicopter Boys. They had Selena Snow and Jada Parker with them. They took on the HRS.
HRS, that's a tough team. Iconic, really.
For sure. Known for their tag team prowess. It was a good match, high-flying as you'd expect from the Helicopter Boys. In the end, they retained.
And Fingers is also a singles champ, isn't he?
He is. He holds the Only Heels championship. So retaining the tag titles, too, that's impressive. They're really solidifying their spot at the top.
Okay, finally. The main event. Elimination Chamber. For the big one, the main championship. The Block defending against Puma, Buzzsaw Butcher, Maurice Frazier, Angelo King, and Fingers. Huge match. Huge structure.
Supposed to be the climax of the night, right? Defending the biggest prize and the biggest structure, but things got weird.
Weird how, not just brutal, but weird.
Yeah, like technically weird. The Block, the champion, he just froze. Mid-run, like a video game glitching out.
Seriously, he just stopped moving.
Yeah, completely stuck mid-run. Couldn't move, couldn't react, and because of that, apparently he couldn't be pinned. It made the whole end of the match completely wonky.
So what happened? Who won?
Well, Maurice, Frazier, and Fingers got eliminated normally. That left the Block, frozen, Puma, and Angelo King. But with the champ, literally unpinnable. They couldn't finish it. It just stopped. Unresolved.
So, no champion decided. What does that even mean? Was it just a tech issue or something else? Felt almost deliberate after all the other strange stuff.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What happens when the game itself seems to break down? It's more than just a mistake. It throws the whole title picture into chaos. They announce they have to run it back next week. A triple threat, the Block, Puma, Angelo King.
So nothing has been settled for the main title. Wow.
Yeah. And honestly, that glitch felt like a sign of things to come. It was the first real crack in the reality of the show, setting the stage for the absolute insanity at the very end.
Insanity's right. Because just when you thought things couldn't get stranger, Killjoy showed up.
Oh man, Killjoy, the psycho madman maniac, the killer clown. He didn't just show up, he seemed to hijack the entire broadcast.
What do you mean hijack?
Like the feed changed. Suddenly the location graphic said, Des Moines, Iowa. The whole arena filled with red mist. There were flames everywhere. It turned into this hellish psycho circus. There was even a Carnival of Carnage watermark on the screen.
That's bizarre.
It was horrifying, a really eerie feeling. The commentary team was basically saying he took over the show somehow. Like he bent the reality of the event to his will.
And he wasn't just there for atmosphere. He called someone out. For the QLW title.
Yeah, he holds the QLW belt, the Quantum Leap Wrestling title. He called out a mystery opponent for an Iron Man match. And who was it?
Puma, after everything else he'd been through. The Extreme Rules match, the Elimination Chamber.
Exactly. Puma had already wrestled twice in brutal matches. He had to be exhausted, gas depleted.
So why Puma?
Right.
Why pick someone already worn down if Killjoy already has the title?
It echoes that DMP motivation, doesn't it? It wasn't about winning the belt. Killjoy seemed to just want to test your own mettle against the great Puma. Maybe prove he could break him, especially when Puma was already vulnerable after fighting so much. It felt sadistic.
And the match itself. Iron Man 15 minutes.
Brutal. No DQs, falls count anywhere. They used sledgehammers. At one point, Killjoy was literally biting Puma. Just pure mayhem fitting that whole psycho circus vibe.
How did the score end up?
It went back and forth. Puma actually took an early lead, but Killjoy fought back, tied it, and then took the lead 3-2 right near the end. It just showed Killjoy's relentless pressure, and yeah, the toll those earlier matches must have taken on Puma.
Wow. What an ending to the night.
Right. It completely cemented Killjoy as this terrifying, almost supernatural force who can literally reshape the show around him.
So let's recap the nightmare. We saw Puma finally get that definitive win over Holden Rhodes, a really satisfying end to that feud. DMP won his strange pride match, forcing Hunter S. Mustache into a shave.
We got the chilling debut of the Reaper and the new Disciples of Death, plus the mystery around King Slick's disappearance. The Royal Family ladies won their chaotic tag match.
POE punched his ticket to the King of Me and the Boys tournament. The Helicopter Boys held onto their tag titles against the tough HRS.
And the Dreadnoks continued their dominant streak, though maybe with a slight asterisk after that controversial countout against the Royals.
But the really big stories, the main title, Elimination Chamber match, completely breaking down due to a glitch, leaving the championship undecided.
Yeah, that unresolved chaos hangs heavy. And then the absolute showstopper. Killjoy's apparent takeover of the entire event, the horrifying atmosphere, and that brutal, almost predatory challenge he issued to an exhausted Puma. It feels like Me and the Boys Wrestling just entered a much darker, weirder phase.
So for you listening, the big question really becomes, when the lines blur like this, when the game itself glitches or seems to be manipulated by characters like Killjoy who's actually in control, what rules even apply anymore? It leaves you with a lot to think about until the next time we dive deep.
Indeed. Understanding what happened is one thing, but thinking about why and what it means, that's where the real value is, especially in a world throwing so much information and sometimes misinformation at you. Critical thinking is key.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you next time.